We're counting down the 10 wildest secrets hidden beneath the Appalachian Mountains. From multi-level tunnels stacked deeper than most skyscrapers are tall, to underground lakes holding enough water to fill entire cities, even a fire that's still burning after 60 years, these facts will make you say, I had no idea that was under my feet. Which underground marvel takes the top spot? Let's begin with number 10. In the 10th place, the ground beneath parts of Pennsylvania and West Virginia isn't just rock, it's a honeycomb of tunnels, shafts, and chambers stacked layer after layer. In some mining districts, there are up to 5 levels of tunnels, one right on top of the other, like a multi-story building flipped underground. These aren't tiny crawl spaces. The pillars holding up the earth can be 20 to 40 feet wide, yet in certain grids, more than half of the ground is empty space. Walking above, you're standing on a Swiss cheese of rock and air, with engineering so wild it still holds up today. That's inane. Number 9. Some coal fields beneath Appalachia contain tunnel networks that stretch for more than 70 miles. Hand-carved, pitch-black corridors twisting beneath the hills. Imagine walking 100 miles underground, never seeing daylight. These aren't random holes. They're organized mazes, with narrow-gauge railways snaking through the dark and air shafts popping up every few hundred yards just to keep miners breathing. Historic maps show these tunnels branching in every direction, connecting work sites, mule stables, and loading points. The sheer distance carved out by hand is almost impossible to picture. An underground maze longer than most highways, all hidden right under your feet. 8th place. Entire towns once existed underground in the Appalachian coal fields. At the peak, more than 700,000 men worked in these hidden cities. 12,000 mines alive with mule stables, blacksmith shops, and lunchrooms deep below the surface. Miners spent 12-hour shifts in the dark, surrounded by the sounds of railways and the smell of coal dust. The Monongah explosion in 1907 killed over 360 men in a single mine, showing just how many lives were packed into these subterranean worlds. Life, work, and tragedy all played out miles beneath the mountain, in places most people never even knew existed. Number 7. Beneath Jenkins Township, Pennsylvania, there's a hidden lake that almost no one has ever seen. In 1959, the Susquehanna River broke through the roof of the Knox Mine and poured nearly 10 billion gallons of icy river water into the tunnels below. The water didn't just fill one mine, it spread through miles of interconnected galleries, creating a single underground reservoir the size of a small ocean. Decades later, that water is still trapped in the dark, sealed off from the world above. Engineers call it a ghost lake. It sits quietly beneath neighborhoods and fields, holding more water than some surface lakes. Most people drive over it every day, never realizing there's a flooded world just a few hundred feet below their tires. Number 6. The Knox Mine disaster in Pennsylvania is the kind of story that sounds made up until you see the records. On January 22, 1959, miners working under the Susquehanna River broke through the rock, and suddenly the river itself started pouring into the tunnels. Within minutes, a whirlpool opened up on the surface over 100 feet wide, sucking down trees, ice, and even entire railroad cars. More than 50 rail cars were dumped straight into the vortex in a desperate attempt to plug the hole. It was chaos underground as icy water roared through miles of passages, trapping dozens of men. 69 miners made it out, but 12 never did. That single breach didn't just flood a mine, it created an underground torrent and left behind a hidden lake that's still there, sealed off in darkness beneath Jenkins Township. You cannot make this up. Number 5. Brushy Fork Dam in West Virginia is an earthen giant that almost defies belief. This dam holds back 7.8 billion gallons of water, enough to fill more than 12,000 Olympic swimming pools. What's wild is that it's not made of concrete like Hoover Dam. Instead, it's a 470-foot wall built entirely from earth and rock, stacked higher than Hoover's own crest. Engineers designed it to hold back a lake the size of a small ocean, and it's just one of nearly 1,000 similar impoundments scattered across the Appalachian Basin. Most people drive by without a clue that this mountain of dirt is quietly holding back billions of gallons, all thanks to human engineering on a scale that's hard to imagine. Number 4. Some streams flowing out of the Appalachian hills look like they belong on another planet. Bright orange, fiery red, even neon yellow, the water glows with color. This is not a natural spring or a rare mineral deposit. It is acid mine drainage. When rainwater or groundwater seeps into abandoned coal mines, it reacts with iron sulfide, also called pyrite, left in the rock. The result is a chemical cocktail that turns the water acidic, sometimes as low as ppH 3.5, and loads it with dissolved iron. When that iron meets open air, it oxidizes, just like a rusty nail, and stains the water a vivid orange or red. More than 12,000 miles of Appalachian streams have been colored by this process. It is a wild, unforgettable sight, rivers that look like they are on fire, all because of what is hidden underground. Number 3. Old Appalachian mines aren't just abandoned, they're getting a second life in the most unexpected ways. Deep beneath Pennsylvania, the Iron Mountain facility turns a former limestone mine into a fortress for corporate records. These vaults sit 220 feet underground, protected by blast doors and armed guards, with a natural climate that stays a steady 55 to 60 degrees year-round, perfect for keeping documents safe from fire, flood, or even nuclear disaster. In another set of tunnels, Keystone Mushrooms grows thousands of pounds of mushrooms every month, using the cool, humid air that once echoed with the sound of coal carts. Some sites are even being studied for geothermal energy, tapping into the constant underground warmth to heat and cool buildings above. What started as a world of darkness and danger is now a hub for high-security storage, fresh food, and green energy. That's Appalachian ingenuity, turning yesterday's mines into tomorrow's solutions. Coming to the top 3, the sheer scale of what's hidden under the Appalachian Mountains is almost impossible to wrap your head around. Over 1 million acres of land, an area bigger than the state of Rhode Island, have been hollowed out by coal mining. At the peak, more than 700,000 men worked in 12,000 different mines, carving tunnels and chambers by hand, with nothing but dynamite, shovels, and mules to move the coal. All that effort powered half of America's electricity for decades. That's right, Appalachian coal kept the lights on in every other home and factory across the country. It's not just the size of the tunnels or the depth of the mines. It's the fact that an entire underground empire was built by hand beneath these hills. The numbers are wild, but the legacy is even bigger. It's still there, silent and massive, just beneath your feet. And finally, in first place, Centralia, Pennsylvania, the town with a fire burning right under its streets for over 60 years. In 1962, a coal seam caught fire 300 feet below the surface. It never went out. The fire spread slowly and relentlessly until it reached 8 miles wide. The ground above gets so hot in winter that snow melts instantly and steam pours out of cracks in the pavement. The air sometimes shimmers with heat, even in the dead of January. Centralia was once home to more than 1,000 people, but the fire forced nearly everyone to leave. Today, the town is almost empty, a ghost town with a smoking heart. Scientists say this underground blaze could keep burning for another 250 years. Pennsylvania has at least 38 other coal fires smoldering beneath its hills, but none are as famous or as haunting as Centralia. The fire is still there, spreading slowly in the dark, a reminder that what's beneath these mountains can outlast generations. That's insane, and it's still happening right now. Across all 10 entries, one truth stands out. What's beneath the Appalachians is bigger, stranger, and more engineered than anyone imagines. These mountains aren't just history, they're an underground world, still changing and alive right now. The wildest stories here aren't legends, they're happening beneath our feet.